Hi, this is Nathan Cavedo from the Merced County Office of Education, your host for this episode of Community Conversations, a weekly radio show brought to you by KYOS. Community Conversations features local people talking about education, government, and community activities and issues in Merced County.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Our first guests this week are Jed and Sienna Medifin, and Sienna wrote an essay last year which earned her father, Jed, Father of the Year. Congratulations to both you guys. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you, Nathan.
And Sienna, how have things been going?
Things good.
Good, really good. You know, I was just talking about this earlier. You were at the city council meeting, the Merced City Council meeting earlier this week, and Sienna, you had an opportunity to read the essay.
Yes.
How was that? Was that kind of scary?
Well, I got a little nervous, but it was okay.
Yeah, a lot of people there?
Not many.
No, not too many. Well, sometimes those city council meetings are completely full, and other times it's just not too much. So let's talk about this. Jed, what was that like last year when you found out that you were the Father of the Year?
It was really special. I can't imagine an honor that would be more meaningful just as a dad to hear that. And I think so many other of the men who were honored through the contest just felt just really affirmed that these things that often seem small, the small choices to be present with your kids and listen and wrestle and read the bedtime stories or coach their sports teams, those things really do matter. And that was just special to feel so encouraged and affirmed in that way.
You know, and I had an opportunity last year to be at that award ceremony and to hear all those stories and to meet all those people. It was really reaffirming, because I'm a father also. So that always feels good to hear, when you hear your kids say those great things about you. So for folks who are unaware of this contest, this is the 12th annual here in 2013. Everything that anyone who's interested in this, they need to know is at Merced County Father of the Year .org. I want to get that email or that website out there a couple of times while we have this conversation. So the essay contest is open for kindergarten through 12th grade students here in Merced County, and any student homeschooled or public schools. And I say that because, Sienna, you are homeschooled.
Yes.
And you have a couple other siblings, don't you? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother and 3 sisters.
3 sisters. Okay. And what grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
You're in 3rd grade. All right. That's pretty cool. So, again, the contest is open for kindergarten through 12th grade students, and all the information is at Merced County Father of the Year.org. And Sienna, I see that you have a piece of paper in front of you there. Is that the essay?
Yes.
Do you want to read it? I'd like it if you did.
All right.
Okay, let's go ahead.
I'm the oldest of 5 kids. There are a lot of hard things about being the oldest. The littlest ones get into my things, scribble on my artwork, and cry a lot. I have more responsibilities than the rest of them, so I have to help out more. Sometimes I have to be in charge of the little ones. My father understands too, because he was the oldest. He was a very good big brother. He was kind, gentle, understanding, and protective. He comforted his little brothers if they were sad. He helped his mother a lot. They loved him and still do. Since he was a good big brother, it helped him to be a good daddy too. He was such a fun brother, and now he's a wonderful father. Some of the things I love most about my daddy is that he wrestles with me, he helps me learn Bible verses, and he reads us the Chronicles of Narnia. He takes us on outing like skating or octopus and yogurt. He works hard to provide our clothes, food, and home. For 2 years, he has made a salt garden with me, and that was a lot of fun. And he coaches my basketball team. Whenever he goes away on a trip, I go to his room and smell his pillow because I miss him. It smells like him. Most importantly, he loves me with all his heart, and I think he's the best daddy in the world.
Oh, good. Let's give a little round of applause here. Good job. You are an excellent reader.
Thank you.
Good job. For a 3rd grader, fantastic. That is outstanding. So, I've heard this a couple times. Gets a little cuter every time. But in the essay, she says that you travel a lot. Jed, what do you do for a living?
Well, I lead an organization called the Christian Alliance for Orphans, and it's actually based in Washington, D.C., but I have the privilege of doing this work for Merced because the member organizations, there's about 130 different organizations that are part of this work. They are all over the country, and they're working all over the world, and so I'm able to lead that work from here in Merced, but then do need to spend some time on the road, meeting with the different groups, speaking at events, and that kind of thing. So, do spend some time on the road.
You do. And, I'd have to say that I had a class with your father, Maynard Medifin. He taught biology and Sierra Nevada, maybe a couple other science classes at Atwater High School. And your whole family, just a bunch of neat people. You guys really are.
Thank you.
So, again, I want to let everyone know that Merced County FatherofTheYear.org has all the information that they would need. This contest, again, is open to kindergarten through 12th grade students. And Sienna, I want to ask you a couple more questions here. One, what is your favorite subject in school?
I think my favorite subject is science.
Science? Why is that?
I like doing a lot of experiments and writing about them.
What kind of experiments, like with plants, or do you experiment with other kinds of stuff?
I experiment with sort of all kind of things.
All kinds of things, okay. And so you're homeschooled, and what's an average day like that like for you?
Well, we start with math, and then we do history, science,
And then I'm sure there's some
lots of
PE and
things.
some other stuff here and there.
Writing.
But science is your favorite.
Yes.
What's your least favorite? Mine was always math.
Math.
Yeah, I was never too good at math. That one was always a struggle for me. So Jed, any final thoughts about your experience with the Father of the Year contest? Any advice you would give to other fathers?
Well, get your kids involved with this. It's about so much more than just a contest. It's an opportunity for kids to work on their writing skills and expressing things, and just a meaningful celebration of fatherhood, which, I think in our culture today, often you watch, sitcoms and commercials, and fatherhood is often made fun of. And, it's all in fun, I suppose. But at the same time, it sends the signal that fatherhood maybe doesn't matter that much. But deep down, we all know that a father who's present and loving can make such a profound difference in a child's well-being. And, frankly, all of the statistics bear that out. I see that in my own work with kids in the foster system and in other situations like that. And frankly, the presence of a committed father in a child's life is one of the best indicators of their future well-being, and everything from health to incarceration rates, education levels, and those sorts of things. And certainly that's not to say that kids can't thrive when just cared for by a loving mother, but ultimately, I think we would all agree, caring fathers can make a profound difference. And so this contest is, ultimately a real encouragement to fathers out there, and a call to all men to step up, whether as a literal father to their own children, or sometimes stepping in for other young people that are growing up without a father figure and becoming a mentor to them.
Well said. And I definitely agree with you about the way American pop culture kind of dumbs down dads. And especially in sitcom situations like that, we're not always shown in the brightest light. But you're right. It's hard to argue that a good father or father figure in a child's life really does make a huge difference. So with that being said, again, it's Merced County FatherofTheYear.org. All the information is there, and it's for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. I would like to thank Jed and Sienna Medifin for joining us today.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Next up, we have Monica Bernardo. She's here with United Way of Merced County to talk about a new project that they're offering. Monica, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for having us here today.
So you work with United Way. What exactly do you do?
So I basically work on all the innovation and impact projects that we have. And today I wanted to sort of share with you a really exciting new project that we have at the United Way, which has been funded by City Community Development. And it's one of 10 national innovation and impact projects. And it's really focused on helping the small businesses in our county to benefit from social media marketing.
Okay, and how exactly does it work?
So, when we've been in conversations, we've recognized that here in Merced County, we've got a lot of young, talented individuals in our community that really need the right kind of support and recognition of the talents they have to connect them to the right kinds of opportunities and to stay here in our community. And we really are working on trying to nurture and keep the young talent here in our community. We also recognize that we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are starting new businesses in our community and managing them and stuff. So what we wanted to do was create a program that really connected those two. It created the young talent that we have that's looking for employment opportunities, that's already pretty social media savvy, with small businesses that we know could really benefit from adding social media to their marketing. And so what we've done is we've partnered with Merced College and the Small Business Development Center to basically come up with a training and apprenticeship program that connects the young talent and gives them whatever they need to do in order to become professional social media strategists with small businesses to actually develop a social marketing plan for the small businesses who participate and develop a 12-week social media marketing campaign that gets them the kind of results they want for their businesses.
Wow, and when you talk about the younger segment who are social media savvy, of course they are. These digital natives, these kids are not off their phones for more than 5 minutes.
They're amazing.
Walking down Main Street, I see just a bunch of kids on there, tapping away on their phones. What are the criteria for the younger students, or I guess the younger kids who will be helping out as the social media experts? So
the criteria that we have is really for anyone to sign up for the project is that you really need to be making less than $40,900 per year in your household. That's really the minimum criteria that we have for you to basically sign up for the program. But for the type of social media strategists that we're looking for, we're really looking for individuals who you've done social media. You might have volunteered for some community organizations and have done some social media campaigns. And you're like, I really want to do this for a living. I want to find out how I can develop the portfolio that I need of sort of a track record of being able to do this, get the opportunity to get the training I need in order that I'm recognized as a professional in the field, and connect me to businesses in the community that are willing to work with me and take it to the next level. And so if you want a career in social media and you want to be taken through the training program that's going to give you a nationally recognized credential in a 6-week training program, and that sets you up for the examination to do that, then this is definitely the program for you.
So how did United Way get the opportunity to bring this to the community?
So the United Way of Merced County has been working with City Community Development on a variety of projects for a long time.
And City Community Development, is that City Bank?
It's City Bank,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I was
yes.
confused about that until I looked down at my notes and saw the way that City was
spelled.
Okay.
So City has been making, for many years through the United Way and through other organizations locally, significant investments in a lot of resources and programs focused around workforce development, small business development, and even in 2011, one of the wonderful community conversations that they sponsored was around social enterprise. It was around this concept of how do we basically help the community develop programs that recognizes the talents and the assets that we have and finds a way to make those sustainable beyond the initial investment. And so City has really been an amazing partner with us in helping us develop this program to figure out how we're going to basically be able to do the initial investment that we needed to develop a social enterprise that's going to allow us to continue hooking up social media strategists with the small businesses so that this kind of service stays in our community.
And that seems pretty vital to keep. And I hear this, working in education, I hear this all the time, that we have kids, they either go to school here or they go to school elsewhere, to college, and then they move. They never come back. And that has been a consistent problem of keeping high-skilled workers here in the community.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will somewhat address this, and at the same time help those businesses that I think the criteria is that the business makes less than $1 million a year.
Yes, in revenue. Yes.
Okay, so less than 1 million in revenue. Not having ever owned a business, I don't really know what size business that would be, but I'd imagine a lot of them, let's say on Main Street, downtown, they're probably not making more than $1 million a year.
Yes.
That would surprise me if they are. So again, if folks are interested in applying for this or to see if they're eligible to be one of these social media experts, how would they go about that?
It's really easy. All they have to do is just call us at the United Way of Merced County at area code 209-580-6412. And they just need to dial the extension 507. Again, that number is 209-580-6412. And ask to speak with Monica, and I'll be happy to get them signed up.
And Monica, what's your background before you started working for the United Way?
So I actually am, I'm originally from Portugal. My parents came when I was 4.5, and I basically grew up in Merced County. And I was one of those students natives who went away. And then came back. And so this project is really close to my heart. I think it's really important. Many of us have family here. We have a sense of community here, and we're committed to investing in helping our community prosper. So this project is very near and dear to my heart.
So again, can you read off that number if folks are interested?
Sure. It's 209-580-6412, and the extension is 507.
And would that apply for both students and businesses?
Yes, I'll make sure to sign them up for both and to follow up with them.
So anyone who's interested can give you a call there.
Anyone.
Fantastic. Okay, just got another minute here. Any final thoughts?
No, I think that, this program is one of the many programs that the United Way of Merced County is really trying to do to make sure that we make really intelligent investments and planning in our community to make sure that it's prosperous. And it's also about a model of partnership with the different members of our community. So what we're trying to do really is to bring members of our community to come up with really thoughtful solutions for where we can go. So not only does this project represent an amazing investment in our young people and also in our small businesses, but I think it's also here to model the way that we can go about really bringing innovative solutions, which is bringing the right kind of partners around the table, really doing something creative and new. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share that.
I'm happy to. And I'll tell you what I would like to do is have perhaps a student and then a business owner come on when this is up and running and talk about their experience and how things are going.
I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'll be happy to make that happen with you, Nathan.
Okay, I will keep in touch. But thanks so much for joining us today, Monica Bernardo with United Way of Merced County.
Thank you so much.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Next up, we have Heike Hambley with the Merced Shakespeare Fest, here to talk about the newest production, which opens February 2nd at the Merced Multicultural Arts Center, the production of Hamlet. Heike, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Nathan. I'm so happy to be here. Somebody asked me to talk about Shakespeare and our upcoming production, and I will travel and talk about Shakespeare. I am so excited. This is our 4th winter play. You might all know that we're doing free Shakespeare in the summer at the park, and the community can come out and enjoy the day in the park with Shakespeare. And now this is our 4th production indoors, the Merced Multicultural Arts Center. And I know it has been in the press a bit, with all kinds of things and funding and so forth. But it's a beautiful, intimate theater space. And I'm
very intimate, yes.
The action happens right there. I mean, it's almost like the actors are sitting on your lap. Yeah, not really, but somehow. And so we're getting ready for Hamlet now. I'm very excited about that. We are rehearsing for it right now. And it is such an intense drama, and all the time, every 10, 15 minutes, there is a quote that people go up with knowing because it's the most quoted show of Shakespeare. And then in between, the funny parts, there are word puns. Shakespeare is so wonderful in how he's writing. And I have a great cast, and it is very worth seeing. especially also because our prices are very cheap. Adults $10 per ticket, and students and children $5.
They're inexpensive. They're not cheap.
Oh yes, right. We are inexpensive, and it's all worthwhile and even more.
So I understand that the play is set in a different time. Is that correct?
Well, that's the nice thing with Shakespeare. You can put Shakespeare in any time you want to. You can futuristic or whatever. Very often in the park, we perform in Renaissance garb. It's beautiful. It's colorful. It has feathers and boots and all that. This time, I am in modern times.
Okay.
And I don't say, oh, it's the 80s or it's this time 2013, but it's just the modern times.
Just say modern times.
Postmodern, as we call it. But we have a little bit of fun with all the Renaissance gear that we have, because there is an important part, the players. There's a group of players that put on the play, and they're all in Renaissance and swooshing skirts and feathers in their hair and so forth, and that's our fun part. Actually, it feels so right to put Hamlet in a more modern kind of time, because there's so many thoughts that human beings have had for centuries that we still have. How worth is it to live? Life and death, what does it mean in our lives? Somebody asked me to revenge something. Is that okay? Can I kill somebody? No, I don't think so. This is really hard. And relationships between men and women, generational conflicts. It's just so modern.
So kind of basic ideas about humanity, though.
That's Hamlet.
Yeah,
yes.
that is Hamlet. How many folks are in the production?
19 people. And this year, it's like we have about half of all the people, of the actors that are not from Merced. So we're becoming even more a regional theater, which I'm very happy about. They also bring audiences from somewhere else. My Hamlet is Colton Dennis. He's from Patterson. He is the artistic director of Patterson Repertory Theater. I've worked with him in Modesto, and he is a very sensitive and very intelligent Hamlet. He's pretty dynamite.
And that you say that about half the cast is from surrounding areas says a lot about the Merced Shakespeare Fest in general, that it does have, some street cred out there.
That's right. Yeah, we attract a lot of good actors from other places that want to do Shakespeare, and there might not be a Shakespeare theater per se in their community.
And so I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, it starts February 22nd. What are the other dates?
Yes, we open Friday, February 22nd. Then we also perform February 23rd and 24th. There's a second weekend, March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, all the Friday and Saturday at 7:30 in the evening. Sunday, it's a 2 p.m. matinee. And we even bring Hamlet for another weekend to Mariposa, to the foothills, which is March 8 and 9, together with the Mariposa Playhouse.
And where do they perform?
They have an outdoor theater at the county park, yes, and they can close it up completely. And this is their first season where they perform also indoors, and so they're very excited to host us. And we like to bring Shakespeare on the road. Our performances are always very mobile. We don't have a lot of set requirements. We just do the acting.
And folks can find out more information at mercedshakespearefest.org or by calling 723-3265. Heike, we just have another minute here. Any final thoughts?
I am so excited about this show, and I hope and wish that many, many people come to see it. The sales are going already great, especially from UC students. Our connection with UC Merced is very good for us, and our actors are excited. And I think there will be a couple new slants and a couple of things that you haven't seen in Hamlet. So I just want you to raise your amazement and suspicion and come and see that.
All right, great. So again, the show starts and opens February 22nd at the Merced Multicultural Arts Center. For more information, visit mercedshakespearefest.org or call 723-3265.
Or go on Facebook, because we have a big Facebook presence.
Oh, you guys are on Facebook
Oh,
too.
sure.
Okay.
Everybody is, right?
Everybody is. Well, always a pleasure. Heike Hambly with the Merced Shakespeare Fest.
Thank you so much, Nathan, and huzzah!
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest is Adam Miller with the Merced Theater, here to talk about all the great upcoming events. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us again.
Always a pleasure. I love talking about the theater. And, I just went, I'm trying to think, it was about a week ago. When this airs, it will have been several weeks ago. But the Merced Symphony Orchestra, their performance there was, I was able to go with my daughters. They both went with their school, and what a fun time.
That was amazing. We had over 1,800 school children through the venue for their event, and then we had almost 400 in attendance for their Pops concert that night. It was a great day.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty good turnout. But what do you guys got coming up soon here?
Well, we are proud to be presenting with the Weaver School District to present Disney's The Little Mermaid Jr. The performers will be from Weaver Middle School, and they'll have 3 public performances. One Friday, March the 1st at 7 p.m., and then 2 shows on Saturday, March the 2nd at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. We're extremely excited because this will be the first full theatrical production we've had in the building since we've been reopened.
And it's a musical.
That's right.
I wrote a story about this, and I went out to talk to some of the kids and take some pictures, and I had an opportunity to watch them rehearse, and these kids have really got it down. They have been rehearsing since August because Weaver's on a slightly different track, so they start a little earlier than the other school districts. So as soon as school starts, they start auditioning, and by August, they're rehearsing.
Mm-hmm. And this will be the second show that I've had the pleasure of working with the Weaver School District on, and you would not know that you were going to see a middle school production. This is, high school or above. I mean, last show I saw was Beauty and the Beast Junior 2 years ago, and Beauty was a 4th grader, and you wouldn't even could believe that she was a 4th grader. She's now playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking forward to seeing her progression and seeing her acting on stage.
And that's I could tell that these kids had done some theater work beforehand. I recognized a few of them from the summer production of The Hobbit that the MCOE Foundation helped do with the Weaver School District and a couple other organizations. Excuse me. So that is Friday, March 1st at 7 p.m. and then Saturday, March 2nd at 1 p.m. and then an encore presentation at 7 p.m.
That is correct.
So again, that's Disney's The Little Mermaid Jr. It's a musical. Great show for kids and in pretty much all ages. And then what do you got coming up after that?
Well, it's hard to believe that we're almost to our 1-year anniversary. So in celebration of that, on March 16th, we have the longest running Phantom of the Opera, Frank D'Ambrosio, coming. He's going to be performing his Broadway, Songs from the Great White Way. That includes songs from Les Mis, from the early days of Broadway, some of the Follies, all the way up to songs from Phantom of the Opera. The unique thing that we're going to do, too, is the day before, on March 15th, we're having a master class at the theater. It'll start at 4 o'clock. It's completely free to anyone that wants to attend. Mm-hmm. And a part of that, we're also looking for Christine and a Raul to sing the next night on stage, All I Ask of You with Frank D'Ambrosio. The top 5 contestants, both male and female, will get a pair of tickets to come to the night the next night. And the winner will actually get to sing on stage on the 16th. So it's going to be a super, we're extremely excited to have him here. If you're looking for more information on it, our Facebook page, Merced Theater, or on our website, mercedtheater.org, has everything you need to know about the audition and everything like that.
That's true. The 1-year anniversary is in April sometime.
Officially, it's April 21st, but we had the chance to bring Frank D'Ambrosio in, and he was available a little bit earlier, and it just worked out perfect.
And so that's Saturday, March 16th at 8 p.m. And then I see here on my notes you got a couple other shows after that.
Yeah, we have the Comedy Jam that everyone's familiar with coming back. The next one's going to be April the 6th. The headliner is going to be Jeff Garcia. He's more famous for some of his voiceover work that he's done in some Disney movies and stuff like that. But he'll be there on April the 6th with probably about 3 other acts for a great night of comedy.
All right. And anything on the horizon?
We've got a lot on the horizon. Looking at putting together a season of shows next year of very great shows. We've also got a lot of other things on the back burner that we're working on. That as soon as we get them finalized, we'll be getting the word out to the public.
Well, we would love to have you on again to talk about that as soon as they are finalized. You always come on and tease me about these little things, but that's okay. We'll find out eventually.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Adam Miller, Managing Director at the Merced Theater.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Captain Billy Alcorn with the City of Merced's Fire Department here to talk about the city's Community Emergency Response Team program. Captain Alcorn, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Nathan.
Do people typically call you Captain Alcorn? It seems very formal.
Yeah, it is. At the fire station, a lot of the people do. Basically out of respect, but I go by Billy as my name.
And what are the different ranks? How does it go from engineer to what?
Yeah, the rank in the fire service, at least in the Merced Fire Department, is we have our firefighters. You then have an engineer, that's the person who drives the apparatus. The captain is basically like the leader of the crew. And every shift has a battalion chief.
Battalion chief. That's one that I always thought was a pretty interesting title.
Exactly. Yeah. They have a lot of power. They manage the shifts, and then above them we have a deputy chief and then the fire chief.
Okay. So let's talk about this Community Emergency Response Team, or the city's CERT program. What does that mean?
The Community Emergency Response Team, the actual team itself, the concept was developed back in 1985 by the Los Angeles Fire Department. It's basically a team of community responders to assist emergency responders when the department's resources are pretty much tapped or run thin. The LA area has a lot of natural disasters, earthquakes, and things of that nature where the responders on duty might not be able to respond. So therefore they established this community team that could respond to assist the departments to help people that could not be immediately treated.
And so, for example, who would be a part of this emergency response team?
Well, basically, when we get this completely established to where we want it, we'll offer a basic CERT training course. And the basic CERT training will basically be available to anybody in the community that can teach them how to basically self-sustain, how to help themselves, how to prepare themselves, and then that training will in turn teach them how to help the community. After we give everybody the basic training course, we'll see who wants to be involved in an actual team and the development of a team, and we haven't decided yet on a number of how many people will carry on this team, but anybody in the community that wants to be involved. The police organization right now has a VIPS program, a Volunteers and Preventions program. We'd like to utilize them, utilize members of the local Red Cross, some of the church-based community, and then the Teen CERT, which we're going to work towards getting local high school involved in the Teen CERT program.
I could see, for example, the teens that are sheriff's explorers being interested in a program like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are the criteria for folks who are interested in being on this response team?
As of right now, anybody can attend the initial training, and they'll see, hey, this is something we want to do or do not want to do, and I'll give you a rundown of what the basic training will consist of. But after that, they'll determine, hey, is this something I really want to partake in to help my community, to help the emergency responders in the city. And then once that goes, we'll probably a lot of organizations run background checks on individuals. They'll probably have to be of minimum age, which would probably be 18 years old, and then just working things through legal issues to determine how we're going to equip these responders.
And how long have you guys been working on this?
The CERT program was established. We had it running back a handful of years ago due to lack of funding, some interest. The program kind of ceased to operate as of about 4 to 5 years ago. The interest is back, and it's starting to be re-engaged again, and so that's why we've decided we want to reinstitute this program.
So ideally, how many folks would be on this response team?
As of right now, FEMA, which is one of the people who help sponsor this program, they will give
Federal Emergency Management Administration?
There you go.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lost my thought there. FEMA, yeah, they will fund you. They assist with the funding. It's a very minimal What they give you is they give you gear, they give you a backpack, they give you name tags for accountability purposes. They'll provide responders with helmets, goggles, face protection from dust particulates, and then usually a vest that will identify what these responders are. So they'll give us, they give 30 up to 30 a year. So 30 is probably going to be the number we want to shoot for as far as as the number we want to carry on our team. And then these members, once they're trained, will basically run just like our the incident command system ICS model. They're going to run just like that, so they can fit right into our system when they arrive at the scene.
So again, this response team, for folks who are just tuning in right now, this response team, this community emergency response team, would take the place of first responders in some catastrophic event. If there was a huge earthquake here, or I don't really know how we would get flooded, but
yeah, well, let's use that. Let's use our local hazard mitigation plan has kind of identified some emergencies that could happen in the city of Merced, and two of the main ones that are identified. Obviously, we have flooding a lot. We haven't had a catastrophic flood in quite some time. But if it did occur, these citizens could help with sandbagging. They could assist with sandbagging. They could assist with potential evacuations of individuals. They could help with road closure type stuff. Anything we wanted to utilize them for to a certain extent. They could also, we'll use a train derailment. You have a train derailment with hazardous materials.
Right.
And now, half of the city is isolated, and, we've got to keep them sheltered in place, get them food, shelter, water. The goal is to everyone to be prepared for at least 3 days, and 3 days of basically food, water, first aid, and shelter. And so these individuals would help that isolated portion if first responders couldn't get there, emergency responders, fire department, ambulance personnel, things of that nature. So therefore, what kind of training will these members have? There's different modules of training, and it starts with disaster preparedness, and that's what to do, how to prepare yourself to respond to these disasters. We teach them fire safety, how to use a fire extinguisher, what type of extinguishers extinguish the different types of fire. First aid, and that's your medical treatment. That we were going to try to get each member certified to CPR, but that's not a basic requirement, but just basic first aid, which would be bleeding control, shock, and breathing, how to assist them with breathing. Light search and rescue, you don't want to go into a collapse zone and, become part of the problem, but how to remove individuals from areas. Disaster psychology, many people have never seen large mass casualty incidents and things of that nature, so you want to kind of make them aware of what they're going to encounter. Terrorism, and then they have a final exercise at the end to basically critique, what they've learned.
Interesting. So the big ones would be, as you said, some kind of flood, train derailment, or an earthquake, which is completely within the realm of possibility here.
Could definitely happen, sure.
We're in California. We're not. We're far from San Andreas fault line, but we're not that far.
Yeah.
Where if the big one hit,
we could be affected.
We could definitely be affected. I know that. I think in Jest, there were at least one or two different. I don't know if they were law enforcement organizations, but large government organizations on the East Coast that had a plan for the zombie apocalypse. And a lot of it, like I said, this wasn't Jest, but they went over all these same kind of ideas.
Yes.
And one of them was a college campus. I think to try to get the kids interested in it and to actually read the materials, they just put that up there. So I didn't get you to bite on that one. Anyway, we're just about out of time here. If folks are interested, how can they contact, or who should they contact?
Any questions can be directed to our main station at 99 East 16th Street. We have an administrative staff up there that would be more than willing to take down names, numbers, and we can contact you to get you further information. Like I said, it's been in the beginning phase right now. So 385-6891 would be our main office line, and just leave them your name, any information you might have. And once again, this CERT program is to basically engage everyone in the community to help make our community safer and prepare themselves when a disaster may occur.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Captain Billy Alcorn with the Merced City Fire Department.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest is Lindsay Johnson with the City of Merced, here to talk about the Neighborhood Watch programs and an upcoming block captains meeting. Lindsay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So how is everything going in the Parks and Recreation Department?
It is going great. We've been very busy.
That's good to hear. So let's talk about the Neighborhood Watch program. Do you run that program? Or you're heavily involved with it?
I coordinate it for the police department.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a joint venture between police, code enforcement, and the fire department and recreation. But we coordinate meetings and any requests from the community.
And approximately how many different neighborhood watches do we have in the city?
Many of them are unknown because they don't participate in our quarterly block captains meetings, but
we'd like them to.
Yes, we would love for them to.
Okay.
So that we can get them on record and know which neighborhoods have groups. We probably have over 50 in the community total. Actually, after this past year, we probably have more like 65 or 70.
Wow. And is that literally just for one block? It seems like that would probably be more of kind of a neighborhood or a couple blocks.
It's good to start out with 1 to 2 blocks because you want to have an area where you can see your neighbors' houses. You want to be able to see what's going on at your neighbors' houses. If there's a suspicious car parked there or a moving van moving furniture out of your house, you want to be able to... You want the group small enough that your neighbors can see what's going on, but you can expand that to other blocks and have, a couple of groups working within a larger neighborhood.
And you have an upcoming block captains meeting.
We do. We have quarterly block captains meetings where the block captains meet with the city officials from police, fire, and code enforcement. And our next one is coming up on February 20th at 6 p.m. in the Sam Pipes room at City Hall.
And what kind of information or describe what that meeting's like?
Police is there to talk about different crime trends that are going on to make the block captains aware of things to look out for in their neighborhoods. And also police and code enforcement do the same type of things. And it's also an opportunity for the different neighborhoods to talk about problems that they're having. And communicate with other block captains to talk about what's working in their neighborhoods and what's not.
What are some of the most common things that you hear are either, I don't want to call them complaints, but I guess issues that a block captain would bring to a meeting like this?
Recently, we've been having a lot of complaints about car theft and home break-ins. There's been kind of an outbreak of home break-ins in North Merced recently.
I've heard about this, yeah.
So that's been a problem. Also, the homeless are a constant complaint of some of the neighborhoods. They don't know how to deal with them or what's the right way to go about handling different situations with them. So coming to these block captain meetings is a good way for them to be able to talk to the police and code enforcement and fire.
And again, when is that block captains meeting?
It is February 20th, which I believe is 2 weeks from now at 6 p.m.
All right. Well, actually, when this airs, it will be that Wednesday, I think. I'm looking over at a calendar here. So, yes, let's just say Wednesday, February 20th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
At 6 p.m. And that's at the Sam Pipes room, which is at City Hall, corner of N and 18th Streets. They're a huge building. Can't miss it.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to touch on regarding the Neighborhood Watch program or block captains?
We just encourage everyone to participate, especially if you're having a lot of problems in your neighborhood. A lot of people want to rely on police to do everything for them, but kind of the whole idea behind Neighborhood Watch is the neighborhood taking back their neighborhood on their own. By reporting suspicious behavior before a crime is actually committed. It's just having more eyes and ears in a neighborhood and reporting anything suspicious as soon as possible to deter crime from happening. And it also gives you an opportunity to get to know your neighbors better and have a more close-knit community within your neighborhood.
And if folks are interested in contacting you for more information, how can they do that?
We have a Neighborhood Watch hotline. The number is 385-6835, and you can leave me a message on that line. If you want more information, if you want to schedule a meeting, or you would like to join Neighborhood Watch, any questions or concerns that people might have, they could contact me on that number.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Lindsay Johnson with the City of Merced.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Karen Baker from the City of Merced, here to talk about a bunch of cool events in the community and a calendar that highlights them. Karen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, and maybe I was not completely correct in saying just a calendar that highlights them. It sounds like there's a website, a few other things that kind of back up this calendar.
Well, what we have is the Visit Merced website, and it also has the domain yosemite-gateway.org. So it's open to all our visitors that come to our town, but it also for our community. So every year we put together, what can I do in Merced? So we just completed updating the clubs and organizations list for the community, and we sent out this form, and now we're loading the calendar with all these wonderful events that Merced has coming up in the next year.
Wow. So it's looking out pretty far here.
It is. It is. We've been adding things every day. So if people have any events that they would like us to add, then if they just come to the California Welcome Center, we have the event form, or if they can just give us a call at the Welcome Center, we'd be happy to send that out to them.
And where's the Welcome Center located?
We're at 710 West 16th Street in the Transpo Center.
Oh, okay. So over here by the branding iron.
Yes.
All right. And you guys have been there for a while, haven't you?
We've been there for 13 years already.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I should have known that. For some reason, I thought you'd moved. I don't know why.
No.
So what were those two domains you said?
We have visitmerced.travel
Okay.
and yosemite-gateway.org.
Okay. And how can folks submit information for these calendars?
Well, either they can get on the website and submit it that way, or else they can, as I said, they can come to the Welcome Center and get a form that we have, and we'll be happy to enter it for them.
What are some of the events that you've been busily inputting into the calendar?
Well, you know what? Actually, what we've been doing, the events we've been working really hard on for March, which is really a busy time for visitors that are coming into Merced. So the very first weekend of March, we have two big events. We have the Merced Cycling Classic, which we're a huge part of. It's the 20th anniversary of the bike race. So we have over 2,000 riders that'll come and enjoy Merced for 4 days. So we're really excited about that, because there's the MID road race up at McClure on Thursday, and then the Merced Booster Time Trial on Friday. And then we have the McDonald's Grand Prix and Community Fair on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have the Hilltop Road Race. And then on also on the Saturday, we have the Merced Mall Pee Wee Classic, which is a favorite, where you see the parents running after the kids on tricycles. It's it's so much fun. And then actually this year, there's also an addition to a new tricycle race, which is MID is sponsoring for United Way. And they're going to get teams of 4 that are going to compete against each other. So we're going to see all these different community members that are going to be in this great race. So it'll be a lot of fun. I can only wait to see that one.
I really want to, after you said it earlier, right before this interview, I really want to form a public information officer team.
Oh, I think it'd be a great idea.
I think it would be. Do you think Mike Conway would do it?
Well, I bet you Mike would do it.
Love to see him on a tricycle.
And then also that very same weekend, there's a big square dancing convention out at the fairgrounds. It's called the Wing Ding. And last year they had 300 people, and this year they're anticipating 450 people. So you're going to see people with all the beautiful costumes and things like that going all over town. So make sure everyone welcomes them, as well as the racers, into our community.
Yeah, definitely. And those racers, you see them all over town for that, about a week, because they're here for a day or two beforehand, and then
a lot of them have been they'll train here, so they're here for up to a week. So it's really fun we have great terrain, because we have the mountains going up towards Yosemite and foothills and things like that. So it's a really great training ground for them. So we're really excited about that.
And I've seen on Facebook some folks saying that a lot of these riders are looking for places to stay.
They are. Some of them are on limited budgets. And so we have Melissa Clay Ortega's been great and has been finding host housing for quite a few riders. So there's about 80 of them that are in private homes. So it's really a great way to get the community involved.
And if you have a house or pretty much just a couch or a spare bedroom or anything, you could probably contact, and without her permission, I'm going to say that Melissa Kelly Ortega at United Way. She works for the Building Healthy Communities, but I believe she's located over there at United Way, and she would be happy to connect you with a cyclist who is looking for housing.
Right. No, it's a great opportunity to get to understand the event and go and cheer your team on. So it's been a lot of fun. And then on the weekend of the 22nd is the 34th annual Tahitian Festival.
Oh, the Tahiti Fete? Is that what it is? Oh, and that's out at the county fairgrounds. And that's a big one, isn't it?
Huge. And people come from all over the world, and it fills up all of our hotel rooms. It's a beautiful event where they create their costumes when they're here. So it's something that we really should support. Becky Menendek, she does a fantastic job, and it's a beautiful event.
I believe I had her on this radio show last year talking about it. Or a representative from that event came on, and I was blown away at how far people come from and how many people come
Oh, they
here.
come from Tahiti, from Hawaii, from all over. So we're really fortunate to have that as well.
Quite an event. So again, if folks are interested in getting their events on these websites, they could simply go to the websites, which are...
And upload them and upload their posters, which is visit merced.travel or yosemite-gateway.org.
Or go to your office, which is over there in the...
Transpo Center, 710 West 16th Street, or give us a call at 724-8104.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on and talking about this. Karen Baker with the City of Merced.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.